Judge's Corner is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com and GatheringMagic.com. Support our show by visiting both websites. Now it's time for Judge's Corner with David Green.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Judge's Corner. Today we're going to be taking a look at mana abilities, both how they work and what they do. So first, let's take a closer look at exactly what mana abilities are. Mana abilities are abilities that produce mana and don't use the stack. They happen immediately and can only be activated when you have priority, or whenever you have to pay the cost for something. Like when something requires you to pay a cost in between the resolution of something, for example, paying for extort, or paying 2 mana to attack around a ghostly prison. There are 2 different types of mana abilities. First, there are activated mana abilities, like tapping a basic mountain to produce a red mana, or removing a charge counter from Pentad Prism to produce any color of mana. The second type of mana ability is a triggered mana ability. Since mana abilities don't use the stack, they can't be responded to. So, for example, you couldn't attempt to destroy a bird's paradise in response to it activating its mana ability, because it just happens instantaneously, unlike with normal activated abilities. But perhaps I'm getting ahead of myself here. Some of you might be wondering, well, what determines what a mana ability is? Well, for activated abilities, there are 3 criteria that must be met in order to qualify as a mana ability. First, you have to produce mana. That's a given. Second, you cannot target. This rules Deathrite Shaman's first ability out, since you actually have to target the land you plan on exiling. So, sorry Deathrite, you can't have everything. Third, it cannot be a loyalty ability. That leaves Koth out of the mana ability club too, and for good reason. It would be kind of weird if somehow you could use Koth's second loyalty ability during your opponent's turn to cast like a lightning bolt, because Planeswalker abilities can only be used like sorceries during your own turn. This means, like most lands, Mana Dorks, and even Chromatic Sphere with its draw a card, are all mana abilities. And just because something has a mana ability does not mean that all of its abilities are mana abilities. Like with Mind Stone, which has 2 abilities. The first being an activated mana ability, and the second being just a regular old activated ability. Triggered mana abilities follow the same rules as activated mana abilities, except they have one more stipulation. They can only be mana abilities if they trigger off of an activated mana ability. Like when you tap a land with Cage Sun out. It will not use the stack since it triggered off of that land's activated ability. But if you somehow turn Cage Sun into a land, which is very unlikely by the way, and tap it for mana, the first trigger on Cage Sun's ability would still be a mana ability, but the following infinite triggers that would go off of it would all use the stack, and also likely end the game in the draw, but that's kind of going off topic. Basically, don't turn Cage Sun into a land that produces the color you've chosen with it, or otherwise you'll probably be doing more harm than good. Well, that's a wrap. If you have any questions about this episode, or any of our other episodes, or just any questions in general, you can send us an email at judgescorner@gatheringmagic.com. And if you like this video or any of our other content, make sure to subscribe to Gathering Magic. Until next time, make sure to shuffle thoroughly, play at a reasonable pace, and how do you turn Cage Sun into a land? Well, first you'd play Cage Sun naming green. Then you could play March of the Machines, turning your giant sun into an artifact creature. And cast Conspiracy naming Sapperling, turning it into an artifact creature Sapperling. After that, you could play Life from Limb, turning all Sapperlings into forests and all forests into Sapperlings, turning your artifact creature land into a Sapperling forest. With that, you could tap it for green since it's a forest, and continuously trigger off of itself again and again until the end of time.